Amigos, amigas, friends, my friends, everybody, you know who this is? Of course, this is Thunder Rosa. And I want to introduce to all of you guys, all of you, this absolutely amazing channel. This is the Dre 41 Gaming channel. And if you haven't seen this, guys, you are watching Dre 41.
What's up, y'all? It is your boy Dre41, aka Mr. 4K, aka El Fuego, Spicy Dre, aka I Am the Ops. And if you're watching this, then you are watching All Star Pro Wrestling 3. I want to say this was, who was this developed by? Square Enix? Yeah, I feel like, Square Enix. Alright, it's cool. So, here's another game that I can potentially play for you guys. Now, I already have a playthrough of this game, and I'm not gonna lie, this game is probably one of the more difficult Japanese wrestling games to play. Now, it's not like so difficult that it reaches the level of Fire Pro. It's not like that. It's not a timing based. But it's weird how they set it up. The controls are very odd. Square Enix is not a developer known for wrestling games, so for them to bang out 3 is astonishing within itself. But just the controls, I don't kind of like. I don't kind of like the controls. They're a little bit difficult, but it's still playable. Power Make, that's the mode that is called where you play as a wrestler and go through, I don't know if it's a season, I don't know. You just have matches, and it's not easy. I'm gonna keep saying that. It's not easy. But this game overall is enjoyable. I feel like as far as games that capture the feel of strong style wrestling is definitely this game. This game definitely holds it down, especially when you're going into the realm of 3D. I guess 2D would have to be, you know what, the more I think about it, I don't think Fire Pro is simulation. It could be, but it also could be super arcadey, especially with the move creator. So I don't know if I can say Fire Pro is the overall best wrestling simulator. I don't know if that's the case. It might have to be this game. It might have to be All-Star Pro Wrestling. You know what? It could also be King of Coliseum too. Yeah, it could also be King of Coliseum. But I would say this game because the graphics are better. Even though hold on. I'm gonna contradict myself. I don't need graphics to enjoy a game. They don't have to be pristine. They don't. But it is great when you get them. So I would have to say that this game is the best wrestling game simulator. So captures the feel of this territory style of wrestling. Because you will sit there and say, well, what about like WWE style or Lucha Libre? Well, the Lucha Libre game, I guess, simulates Lucha Libre style. But even that game, boy, I had that game. Do I have that game? I think I do. Don't I? I'm trying to look at my games, but I can't. They're kind of far away. But yeah, though that game, boy, that game is rough, geez. That game is rough. But the one thing about this game is that it does have a good roster. I love the presentation. I'm always gonna say this, but Japanese wrestling games to me always will have the best presentation. Point blank period. To me, you can't even argue if they do or don't. Because for me, it's the pageantry, the pyro, the entrances. You know what I'm saying? The sounds of the crowd. you know, them throwing streamers into the ring for the introductions. You know, I don't know. It's just I like it. Once again, one of my favorite wrestling games is Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, and I just enjoy the presentation. Like even with that game, you start like in the backstage, and then you come to the ring. It's really cool, and they really like. Even with the N64, they captured the feel of Japanese wrestling, which is super cool because it's like a lot of the times when you look at professional wrestling, especially like American wrestling, and because they both have a game, I'm gonna use AEW and WWE for an example. And it's like a lot of what you see on TV, you don't get in the games. You don't. Now you can sit there and say in Japanese wrestling games that they don't have as many modes or as many wrestlers, and you know what I'm saying, this stuff, that, whatever. But they capture the feel. That's the one thing that they're able to do that American wrestling games just have not been able to capture. And what I mean by that is like you watch an episode of Raw or SmackDown or even NXT. You're never gonna get a 1-to-1 when you play the game. AEW is wow, it's so far from what you the no selling and the blood in every match, you can get that. But I mean overall it's AEW is so far from what you see on TV. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done in like current day wrestling games. Like you could pop this game in and have so much fun. You really can. And I feel like in the WWE games you just I don't know, like I haven't played 2K24 or 25. What game are we on? Hold on, let me see what game we're on. I don't even remember. What game are we on? Are we on 25? What is it? 24? 24, sorry. We're on 24, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I could stop playing that game for weeks, months on end. Like it just doesn't have the enjoyability. And I don't feel like I'm like when I pop this game and I feel like I'm watching an episode of New Japan or I'm watching a pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? When I play 2K or AEW, I don't feel like I'm watching the show. And I go back to like EA Sports, like back in the late 90s, early 2000s when they used to say EA Sports is in the game. If it's in the game, it's in the game. And I feel like wrestling games don't have that. They don't have that ability to say what you see on TV we can emulate in the game, because I don't know, like the promo system wasn't great. It really wasn't. I feel like they should never took it out. They should have improved it, but they did, you know. And promos is a huge thing in wrestling. How you take out promos in a wrestling game? Like how does that even make sense? I'm so confused by that. That doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. It is what it is. I just feel like for wrestling games in general, you have to have the overall feel. We've had so many WWE games that came out every single year, and they have yet to this day captured the feel of professional wrestling. They haven't. Like I don't know. It's just the presentation's not there. I mean, entrance-wise, presentation's there, but commentary's just not there. Commentary hasn't been there in a long time, and mainly because I feel like they never switch up the commentary teams. I feel like they need to. That would help. Add Pat McAfee. You know what I'm saying? Add Corey Gray. Add like what you see on TV is what you get when you're on those particular shows, or you can choose who you want your commentary team to be. That's important to me. That's important with WWE games. Also emotion. What I mean by that is they should have moves in the game that incorporates spots. And usually, like with OMG moments, that's like, okay, that's incorporating gameplay with spots. That's cool. But I mean, like, for an example, right? Like, you try to do a chop fest with Gunther, and he ends the move with, like, chopping hell out of you. Something like that. Or, like, for another example, which is good, like the hockey fights, the back and forth punches, or chops, or whatever the case is. That's cool. That's cool, but it happens so infrequently. Like, it rarely happens. And it's just like, it's a cool feature that just doesn't happen like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I feel in AEW, there's no emotion to that game. That game, which is so weird to me, how they say they want it in the spirit of the Aki games, but it's arcade. That's what I'm not understanding. Like, to me, the Aki games are more simulation than anything. They're not the best simulation, because I said I believe this one is, but it's up there. It's like a close second. I don't know what they were thinking about, but it's just like the AEW game. I want to enjoy it. I want to so badly, but I just feel like it was a miss. And you know, I don't know how much they spent. I guess people are saying like 8 million and some change. I feel like they should have threw more money on it and not rushed it. You cannot rush perfection. That's something that I feel like will always be the case. You can't rush it. I feel like they should have just took their time, filled out the roster. My goodness, update the attires. My goodness, have a call mode that's respectable. But I don't want to sit here on this video and dig on AEW. I don't, because I still feel like Ukes is the top tier developers when it comes to wrestling games. I still feel that way. But back to this game, right? So I can potentially play through this game, and I'm gonna let you guys decide on if I play through this game or if I play something else. It's important for me to sit there and finish these games because I purchased them, and I don't want to just have them and not beat the games. You know what I'm saying? Like, a majority of the games that I have, I've beaten them. There's so many playthroughs on my channel. You can definitely watch them where I beat wrestling games multiple times, unlocked multiple characters. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a walkthrough. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the one thing that I always wanted. And you don't really get that on YouTube, where you get a channel where they go through the game and actually beat the game. Like, you don't get that. So it's just like, for me, and I'm not talking about just WWE games. Like, there's mad channels that play through WWE games. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like Japanese wrestling games or wrestling games in general, that they really go through, beat the game, you know what I'm saying, and you're good money. And I'm looking at the TNA game right now. Dag, I'm never gonna do a playthrough of that one. I remember beating that game back when it first came out. I'm never playing that game again. I have it. I'm never playing it again. I don't know. That game is bare bones. Whoa, holy smokes, Batman. That game is bare bones. But it is what it is. This game right here is very in-depth. The one issue that I always have with Japanese wrestling games is that I gotta use a translator. I wish I could read Japanese. I wish I could. That would make life so much easier for me in order of beating these games. And you could say, oh, well, why don't you take classes or whatever? If I had the time, shoot. You think it's just easy just to get up one day and just start learning Japanese? Like, come on. But no, I really do like this game. Like I said, I have a playthrough of it. You should definitely check it out. But I never completed it, so this could be another game that I could beat. Like I said, I want to beat all the games, but I want you guys to show me which one you guys want me to attempt, and I'll do it. And I probably won't enjoy it, especially if it's this. I will enjoy it, but I will complain. I'll say that. I will enjoy it, but I will complain. And it's just because the game is difficult, man. Like, they start you off as a jobber, bruh. Just like Wrestle Kingdom. They start you off as a jobber, bruh. And it's like, bruh. Like, and then they send you on an excursion so you can kind of get better. But then if you train too hard, you get injured. And it's like, come on, man. Like, bruh. Like, I don't know. Like, okay. So for Wrestle Kingdom 1, I don't know how to max my player out for the ending. I beat the game twice, and I still haven't figured it out. So I'm going to. I want to try that game again. I feel like I can do it. I feel like I can do it, but I have to create somebody in order to do it. And the create a wrestler feature in that game, if I remember correctly, isn't the greatest. It isn't the greatest. It's based off of what's the game that they had for the GameCube? Day of Reckoning. It's built off the Day of Reckoning engine for the Wrestle Kingdom game. So I don't know. I'll figure something out, and I'll try to make sure that it's worth it. You feel me? But this episode, and of course this is voiceover work. But this episode is coming to an end. So appreciate you guys. Well, this is the first match, but I'm gonna cut this into 2 videos because that's just what I do. Jushin Thunder Liger walks away with the victory, so that's what that is. But yeah, definitely subscribe, all that great stuff. I definitely appreciate y'all. If you're watching this video up to this point, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, that's it for this match.